Mahogany body, TV yellow finish, and a single P90. Doesn't get much better than this. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing very well today. Just look at this beauty. Straight out of the 50s. What exactly is this guitar? This is the brand new model, the Sire L3. So yes, welcome back to the third video in my Sire guitar mini-series where I'm going through the new models released by Sire. And as previously mentioned, we are looking at the Sire L3. So here's a look at the P90 version. Here's a look at the headstock there. Now the L7 is the flagship model. So this L3 is more of a budget guitar. And we'll talk about the specs on it and what it brings to the table. Obviously an incredible 50s vibe right off the bat, the TV yellow finish. I mean, come on. There's a bunch of different finishes for this guitar, but the TV yellow, yeah, just really harkens back to the 50s. So let's quickly talk specs on this guitar. And then of course, we'll plug it in and take a listen. So here are the quick specs on the Sire L3. Now, sometimes on budget instruments, you end up with some really interesting tone woods. Maybe whatever's easy to source at the factory location or whatever they can get a good deal on. Not so here. We've got mahogany body. There's a look at the back. We even have a little kind of contour and scoop for a little better playability. Mahogany neck, which is satin, we'll talk about that in a second, and a rosewood fingerboard. So mahogany, mahogany, rosewood. So no like interesting or local kind of tone woods. It's all right there. Now check out the glossiness of the back of the TV yellow there. Hopefully that's showing up in the camera. There's a good look at the contour as well. And then watch the transition to the neck. We actually have satin. So we've got a gloss to satin transition, which you don't really associate with a budget instrument. So that's, like I said with Sire, right from the beginning, they focus on playability. And that's just one really nice little feature that's really focused on playability that's really appreciated. So here's a look at the back of the headstock. As you guys can see, just regular tuning machines, as this is the budget version. Here's a look at the front side of the headstock. I really do like the shape of the Sire L series headstocks. I think it's just simple, classic, and gets the job done. We do have an actual bone nut right there. So again, a really nice feature for this guitar. And as I mentioned, we do have rosewood on the fingerboard. So a nice contrast to that bright TV yellow. And we also have rolled fingerboard edges. Really nice again. Now this is a sort of a budget-ish model, so we're not talking binding on any of the body, and this is supposed to be like a Les Paul Jr. So very, very simple, straight up rock machine, nothing complex about this guitar. But again, focus on playability. We've got nice fretwork and we've got rolled fingerboard edges. And along with that satin neck, plays a lot better than you might think for a single cut like this. And finally, for the body, well, it doesn't get any more simple than this. Mahogany slab, wraparound bridge, single P90 pickup, no selector, obviously, because we've got one pickup, volume tone, but check this out. Pulled the back cavity cover off, full-size pots. Love to see that. So even though this guitar is like simplicity itself, there's a lot of features on it that focus on playability, which is totally a Sire thing. Those are the quick specs. As I mentioned, you can check the link for local pricing and all the detailed specs, but let's plug this baby in and see what it sounds like. All right, you guys, here we go. First tones with the Sire L3 P90. I've got some crunch dialed in. I'm going to test this wraparound bridge. I'm curious about the intonation. So I'm going to play an octave up A and then go down to some lower chords as well. Just jump octaves and see if it, remains in tune. Here we go. Not bad. Jumping up and down seems perfectly fine. Yeah, straight out of the box. So that's really good news. Very cool. Okay, so I'm going to add another gain stage, just a little bump up. I'm using the Rev Generator 120. So we've got lots of different gain stages. So let's try this. And maybe one more gain stage here just under the crunch section. Let's try that with the tone control dialed out. Since we don't have any pickup selectors, we got to make use of that tone control. I don't know how you describe that, but it's a pleasing tone. Yeah, really great tones using just dialing that in. Yeah, you get some really good flexibility. Okay, so now let's crank up the gain quite a bit. I'm going to put a gate on because we've got a pretty noisy and raucous P90. Let's check that out. So here are my final thoughts on the Sire L3. Now, as you guys can see, I'm clearly holding two guitars, so I'm going to put the TV yellow one aside just for a moment. And I'm just going to quickly show you guys the L3 with the two humbuckers. So if you're not like a P90 guy, or you're like, oh, I already have a P90 guitar, but I could use something a little bit more, affordable to take places. Well, there is a regular L3. And here's a quick look at it. So two humbuckers, three-way switch, volume, tone, and as you can see, same kind of specs. Look at the gloss body and that satin neck. Love to see that. Rolled fingerboard edges, bone nut, all the specs are the same. But you get, the versatility of two humbuckers. So same wraparound bridge, everything the same, except you have the two humbuckers. Right, now back to this beauty. To wrap things up, I love the simplicity of this guitar. There's certain instruments that just make you play slightly different. This is one of them because it just forces you to play in a very simplistic and raw way, which sometimes is just what a player needs. And if you don't have anything with a P90, man, this one's great. But here's what I like about it. So yes, looks very, very simple, but I was like, well, what is it going to be like in hand? Same with the budget guitars from Sire. There's lots of great budget guitars out there. There's lots of great brands. But what I think Sire brings to the table, and having played many models of Sires over the years, it's the detailed touches to playability. So lots of great guitars out there, but in this price tier, you get playability features that other brands don't offer. So that's what I always like about Sire. And again, even on this guitar, so simple, but they just give you features that make playing it easier. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel. As mentioned, I will link to this guitar down in the video description below for local pricing and full detailed specs. Other than that, hope you guys have a great week. See you next time. Take care.